welcome to another episode of When We Cry. What are we doing today? Oh, yes, we're doing book club. So, hello, welcome to When We Cry book club. I guess we can edit this out or leave it.
Keep it in traditional book club style.
Yes.
I know. Okay. This is episode 22, I think.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Today, instead of being hosted by Lorenzo, it will be hosted by me. This is your friendly neighborhood mushroom. Who else do we have on host?
You have Des, who is just one of the two hostages that Mushroom has taken in the making of this episode.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And next to him, kicking it in the back, is me, Lorenzo, just chilling, letting Mushroom take the wheel, and it's going to be a fun adventure, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm excited. So, before we get into book clubby things, what do we want to talk about our everyday lives, I guess?
Yeah.
I guess we could start simply by saying that this is Lorenzo's vacation episode.
Mm-hmm.
This is a beach episode for Lorenzo.
True. Lorenzo,
Yes,
did you bring
I
your
appreciate it.
swimwear?
Did you bring your floaties?
Did I bring? Yep.
Are you good at swimming?
No, I swim naked, so I am in the buff.
Very good.
Okay, so basically, I read the finale of Attack on Titan. So, quick background information with my relationship with Attack on Titan. I was a manga reader at a point. Then final season started now, and I was like, still changed, but it's not that bad. I mean, so then I stopped reading the manga like 6 chapters before it ended, and I started watching the anime. Now the second part started coming out, and I'm like, this is absolute shit. The director just doesn't know how to make a good show. So I was like, okay, so I can choose between finishing Attack on Titan with this horrible fucking show that's just the most 5 out of 10 thing possible, or I could watch an absolute dumpster fire that is apparently the manga finale of Attack on Titan, because I had never seen these many people agreeing on a single thing in a fandom, which is dunking on the Attack on Titan finale. So I just thought, okay, I'll just watch the dumpster fire. So I put on the Attack on Titan OST, like the good one, the good shit on YouTube. Then I read for 3 hours on a night before an exam. So I stood up till 2 a.m. reading Attack on Titan, and I somehow ended up loving it. I really like the finale of Attack on Titan. I don't know if it's because what I look for in Attack on Titan isn't what most people do. Like, I feel like most people really like Attack on Titan characters. I don't. I think they are really bland. I like Attack on Titan because it's a ride of emotions, and like the ability that the story has to make you like go, whoa, what the fuck, this is happening? That's what I really like. Like, fucking Attack on Titan is great at that. And finale delivered. But that also made me introspect a bit, and I'm like, maybe I turned into a Go fan right now, because just like we were so pissed at Go fans because we had been with Higurashi for so long, we were so emotionally invested, and then these people just came in were only here for the ride, didn't even know like the deep things about the characters, and were somehow enjoying the show, and we were like, no, but this is butchering the original work, like what the fuck? Maybe I'm the Go fan of Attack on Titan. That's my conclusion.
Yeah. That's actually really funny, because Des told this to me, like, as a person who fell off of fell off the Attack on Titan train. So I was telling Des, I was like, I watched Attack on Titan 2011 when it was still airing. Like, even then after it aired, I actually read all of the manga up to a certain arc. Back in like 2011, I actually owned like 10 volumes or like 12 volumes of a manga back then. And then it was a gift from my cousin. Anyway, but the point of the story was that even when the Attack on Titan season 2 came out, that was already 4 years or 5 years between. It was so long. Like, people were like, the hype already died when season 2 came out for me. So like these bitches these days tell me to fucking watch Attack on Titan season 4. I'm like, shut up. Like, no. Like, what is this? Like, are you gonna now go and tell me like Madoka Magica? Like what is this? Stop. No, I do not want to watch this. Like, it's not like I don't care about it anymore.
Madoka Magica? That's what Lorenzo called it one time.
Magica Madoka? I forgot what
did I do?
Lorenzo
Did I call it? Did I fucking butcher it? Did I call it something like?
Yes.
It was really funny.
You called it
Madoka
anyway.
Magica?
But I was gonna say about Attack on Titan was that So a few days ago, I've been watching Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood with my friend on Discord, and I forgot how good Fullmetal Alchemist is. So I watched Fullmetal Alchemist like 10 years ago, and I was like, this shit is so good. But like rewatching it literally made me be like, this isn't a controversial statement, but like it's like if Attack on Titan was good. Just kidding, but like,
Okay, I don't think that's a controversial statement in this day and age now. A year ago, yeah. Now, nah.
Like Fullmetal Alchemist is like so good because it's like it honestly doesn't fumble its metaphors. Like it's literally like the main characters works for the Nazis. They're blue, like eyed, blonde hair Nazis killing like basically Middle Easterners / Jews, and then it's like
I did not notice.
Fuck. Oh, do you not know? Like okay, basically, okay, So basically, all of Fullmetal Alchemist is just people pointing at each other. Was like, I remember you because of said war crime, and the other characters point at each. It's also like the story is not only about like two like kids or like teens who are trying to like work through their horrible trauma, but it's also about a bunch of people who did lots of war crimes during a civil war, like during a wartime, trying to like figure out how the fuck are they gonna do good in the world now because war crimes. It's so good. I forgot how good it is. And yeah, it's a lot about genocide and war crimes and about Nazi Germany and about like, and also like the imperialism and colonialization. It's great. It's so good.
I didn't realize that. I mean, I didn't watch it, but
yeah, no,
it's interesting.
I'm currently rewatching on episode 27, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot how good it is. Anyway, the second thing I wanted to bring up, because I'm really proud of it, is while I don't think anybody in our audience reads Stormlight Archive, do you know anything about Brandon Sanderson books?
No.
This dude writes like kind of like maybe like let's say high fantasy, like not, or maybe not high, like let's say mid fantasy.
What?
So, like,
what? I don't know what these terms mean.
Okay,
like,
high fantasy.
High fantasy is when you smoke a blunt and then you write.
No, shut up. Like, listen to me. So high fantasy would be like Lord of the Rings, like Hobbit. That's like a high fantasy, like, or like, or I mean,
like a fairy tale sort of situation.
Harry Potter is not really like high fantasy. Like, it's like they're still like in reality, but they still have magic.
Okay.
He writes fucking books that are super thick. Like, so Dubs, so when I say thick, I don't literally mean like, okay, if I who could read like Fata Morgana in 3 days and like Umineko in a week think it's thick, I really meant it. Like, each of his books are like 1,000 pages long. Like 1,000 pages long.
To be
like,
she was a
big
book.
font. So and like, so what happened was that Dubs recommended me the Stormlight Archive because I recommended Umineko to him, and I was like, oh, I'll get around to read it, but then I didn't get to read it for like maybe like 6 months or something. So then I, like just a few days ago, I was like, whatever, I'm going to do it. I'm gonna read the whole thing. So I just sat in front of my computer and found a Chinese version of it because I can speed read Chinese faster than I speed read English, and read a first book, which is 1,000 pages in 6 hours.
Was it a PDF? You stared at a PDF for that long?
It's not a PDF. It's like a TXT file.
Okay, but
Still.
what? Oh my god! What? Your eyes?
I mean, you could change color of the best part about reading TXT files is because you can change its sizes, and it actually helps you by speed reading because I don't know how people speed reading English, but like when I'm reading in Chinese, I read phrases, and I read basically, instead of reading lines, I read the whole page at the same time.
What?
So then my eyes my eyes don't have to like look at too many things. So like the
Chinese
thing is,
people when they learn Chinese and become superhumans.
But like if you think about it, like English words take space, like as in like the motion of reading from one side to the other side and up and down, and the motion of turning a page, all of that takes time. Like that takes time especially if you have to think you have to read 1,000 pages. However, if you get to just look straight at your computer without ever moving your eyes too much and just like make the screen like not like half of your screen and then just read like every part that comes to you, it's so much faster. And because in Chinese, instead of being like a word like stormlight or like archaeology, which is a word that actually takes your eyes a bit of length to read, like words in Chinese will be like 历史, which is, or like 地理, or like blah, blah, blah. These words are just like 2 characters that are really narrow, which means you get to like absorb so much more information on a page than in English.
That's crazy.
Like,
that sounds like a
for example,
superpower, to be honest.
I mean, it's
Like,
easy for you to say, but like, you know, to someone who doesn't know how to read Chinese, it's like it's like reading a whole, I don't know, each character is very complicated to the untrained eye, but
Yeah,
I
but,
can
like,
see what you're getting at.
yeah, so, and also because of the fact that like in English there's a lot of words that you just never use, like especially medieval words, and like especially if you were reading like medieval fantasy, you're just like, what the fuck is a, I don't know, like just some weapon or something. But like in Chinese there's only like, there's 8,000 characters in total, but like commonly speaking a person uses up to 3,000 to 4,000, so all words are just combination of other words. So like even if you have never seen a thing before, it's just a compound word.
It's
that is made with something
self-explanatory.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like self-explanatory. It's great. It's like super good because like think about this. Like if you have to say the sentence of like, I want to climb a mountain today, it's like that's a lot of like length if you have to like envision the word like sentence, and then like 我今天要上山, which is so much like da 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 da.
Ah, yes,
like,
watch that.
it's
Yeah,
just shorter.
totally.
Yeah, no. But like anyway, the point of the story is it's easier. Stormlight Archive. Oh, the ending, the conclusion I have for you is that I read the first book, which is 1,000 pages, in 6 hours. I read the second book, which is another 1,000 pages, in 7 hours, and then I read the third book, which is 1,200 pages, which is 1,200, and that took me like a whole day. That was a longer book.
You're saying this is
I basically
so
read
dense.
the whole series. Basically read the first 3 books in like the last like 4 days of my life.
And you're
Mushroom,
saying it was so
you
dense
sure you're
that it
not
only
half
took
cyborg
that-
or something?
Sorry, I couldn't. What did you say?
Oh, you can read the whole page at once, but you cannot hear 2 people at the same time. Okay, Mushroom, I take back what I said. I said
Oh
you
my
were half
God.
cyborg. I take it back.
Oh yeah, I can't. That's not something that's in my brain power. I cannot listen to 2 things at the same time.
You have 2 ears.
sorry.
Why can't you hear 2 people at the same time? Huh? Curious.
Yeah, idiot in stereo, you know?
Okay, yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to share.
Well, very impressive.
True.
Also slightly compelling. I almost want to read it, but I am a slow reader and don't have that kind of time because
My
I'm
personal
gaming.
tip is if you want to read it, I recommend you just read the wiki. It's pretty fascinating. The shit that happens in it is fucked. Also, wait. Also, on a really random note, just to put this here, there's a character in Stormlight Archive in the 3rd book. Shalon develops this whole thing, and that I was like, this is exactly like Umineko, but like I can't tell dubs about it because it's like spoilers for Umineko, and I'm just like screaming. I think I will leave this in the spoiler section so I can explain that thought.
Okay.
But like, Dubs made me read Stormlight Archive because he wanted to use it as like a reference, like a point of reference for us to talk about Umineko. But like, it is insane to me that he doesn't even know any of the other things that are like basically screaming at him. Anyway.
You read a 1,000-page book, so you would understand a point he was trying to make.
Yes, I did. I read around 3,400 pages just to see what the point he was making. And the point is there's meta world exists in the other book.
Don't
Right, supplemental
Kinda.
reading. I get it.
Well, what have you been doing then, Lorenzo?
Oh, you know, gaming.
More board games.
I don't
begging
have that.
his brother to play board games.
I haven't. I have not. Like, just everybody's been busy. So in the meantime, I've just been gaming as usual. I have to say I got my brother, Returnal for his birthday. And then I had no idea what it was until he like brought it up. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's like this roguelike from this studio that made a game that he really liked called Outland. It's a really old game. It's basically like it was like a platformer hack and slash with like an interesting like color changing mechanic, but it's kind of like Toho, maybe like a bullet hell side scroller. But anyways, this Returnal game, it's roguelike. Third person shooter, and like those are two genres I'm not that keen on, but for whatever reason this one was like chef's kiss. I haven't beaten it yet.
Fancy, basically.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like I haven't beaten it yet, but I played a decent chunk of the game. It's incredibly beautiful. It plays extremely well. The story is interesting, I'd say.
You don't sound too sure of that.
Because I was like,
you don't sound confident about it. Not at all.
Because I was like, I bet the story's gonna go this way. Because like the premise is you crash land on an alien planet, and you can't die. Every time you die, like the main character will find her like corpse everywhere. And every time you die, you just like, start from the beginning, like a roguelike. So like the roguelike death loop is canon to the story. Okay. And then I'm like, there can be one really good explanation behind this. Huh? What's that?
Just like Hades. Like the death loop is canonical,
yes,
basically.
Yes. And it's called Returnal because she's eternally returning to the planet. But I'm like, very cool. There are one of two ways this can go, and I'm assuming it's gonna, for spoilers sake, I'm not gonna say it, but I'm like, the more I play it, the more I'm like, okay, cool. I think I know what's going on. But it's a very nice game, very fun to play. Will beat it. Still also playing Astral Chain, and most recently, my friends and I, well, the other day they were rating like furry art, and then it somehow got on the topic of Arknights, and now everybody's playing Arknights again. So I'm like, oh no, not more gacha games.
The only thing I know about Arknights is that every's really hot in it, and like that's the only thing I know. Like it's just like it has really pretty art.
Yeah, the artwork's amazing. So they were like, I can't wait for you guys to start popping out fan art of Arknights, and I was like, oh, bet. So then I sent them this in the chat. It's me and an Arknights character because, like Mushroom said, they are all very attractive and also furries. I'm not like necessarily a furry, but some of these guys.
You're furry adjacent.
Can I have that on screen? My God. Can we have that on screen?
Go for it.
Okay.
I won't describe it. It's a YouTube episode like bonus goodie. So play Arknights. I am saving all my money and like, premium credits just for this guy. But that's been my life in the past week.
Quite interesting.
Quite interesting indeed.
Gacha games are hell.
Congratulations.
Horrible. That's why I need to take this break and let Mushroom take the wheel, because I'm trying to claw my way back out of gacha hell. But we'll see.
Lorenzo is debilitated by gacha.
I know. Yeah, I'm like shackled and to these stupid ass mobile
Drop a like to make him recover faster.
Yes.
Right. 1 like equals 1 prayer.
We'll only get like 5 prayers in total. I already know who's gonna like the video. Maybe I'll use both of my accounts to like it.
Oh, we have some loyal followers. Thank you.
True.
Loyal
we actually do. It's kind of like, there's, I don't know. It just warms my heart that I see recurring people commenting and stuff.
Yes.
I feel like I'm making this podcast for 5 people and 5 people only, and the 5 people who are enjoying it, I see you.
Yeah, like sometimes I feel bad about an episode, but then I check it and it has like 9 likes, and I'm like, oh wow, damn, 9 people like this. Okay, I don't feel so bad about it now.
Yes. So thank you, listeners, for tuning in. We appreciate you, and you help us keep going.
True.
Yeah.
So Umineko?
That means there's going to be 9 people who see that picture, and I'm a little scared, but it's fine.
Okay, so Des, do you want to go for anything, or should we start now?
Start.
Start. So basically, we just came from the traumatic experience of seeing Maria getting slapped very hard and, all these horrible things.
Well,
and
emotionally, right?
RIP, our child Sakutaro. And the second part of that, we got to Angel getting onto the island, talking about boats and desires and, all the good stuff about life and how to live. So now we finally, after I think what would feel like 15 hours of detour, we are on the first day of October 4th, 1986. And right now it's pouring on the first day, which is actually surprising because I don't think it usually happens this early. So it's like complete.
Does it not? Because we jump into the dinner. It's usually raining by dinner.
Oh, true. It's pouring already. It's nighttime on the island. Like it's around 9 o'clock on the island, and Butler are with like Jessica, George, and Shannon. And they're just talking about like, oh, like I have heard about your whole thing with George. I'm glad that happened. Balor's just going around like congratulating people for their newfound love interests that he just found out like probably 5 hours ago.
Exactly. And I wanted to say like all that money in the world and like they're talking about you can't Shannon and George's relationship is priceless. And I'm like, wow, the bar is so low.
That's so fucking funny. But yeah, so basically they're just talking about like, oh, like, what if we find the gold? And then Butler's like, well, if I find the gold, I would just split it with everybody. It would just be really fun. Like,
Thank you, Butler. So cool.
Yeah, exactly. Butler hears about Jessica talking about Cannon, and Butler's like, yes, Cannon, good luck with that, kid. Like, hope that works out for you.
Yeah.
So all four of them basically starts running, and they're heading to the guest house while all the family is in the main mansion. Mm-hmm. Basically, so now like we are flipped onto basically meta world-ish Butler, the Butler who's observing, and basically they hear that Kinzo is going to make a great entrance, which is very bad for Butler because the whole point that Butler and AJ has came out before the 15-hour detour you went on is that Butler and AJ thinks
Kinzo was dead from the beginning.
Dead.
Yeah.
Kinzo has been dead from the beginning, and somebody else is like basically taking that spot of his life. But then for Kinzo to show up, that's not very good. Beatrice says like, cackle, cackle, cackle. Could you imagining that Kinzo's dead? And you get back onto the island and you see all the family members in the mansion, and they're just talking about like, oh, when is father gonna show up? Like, there's no way he's gonna show up. He's definitely dead. Like, it just basically builds and bows more on like the irony that might going to happen. Like Eva is like, Kraus cannot definitely get father out. Like there's no way. And then suddenly like it's like 10 o'clock and like they hear knocking, and then basically Kinzo wants like a grand entrance. So basically it's Kumasawa, Shannon, and Goda comes in first.
Yeah, it's really funny because
like,
they're in this. They are so tense in that room. They are like, oh shit, is father gonna show up? Is father gonna show up, or is the plan gonna go right? And then they hear knocking. They're like, oh shit, no wait, father wouldn't knock. He would just barge in.
Basically the knocking, and then they basically knock then, and Kanon and Genji enters a dining hall along with Kinzo, and then that basically is like dun dun dun, Kinzo's alive.
No.
And
you can just you can like hear them being like no.
Yeah, for example, like immediately Eva looks like she's like shrunken. Like Eva says like, "Oh, I'm not frightened. I'm just relieved to find you in excellent spirit, father." And then Kinzo's like, "Ha ha ha. You are so funny, Eva. Like, why can't you just say that you lost your bet with Kraus? Could you imagine losing a bet with Kraus? Nobody loses bets with Kraus." And basically, Kinzo just berates all of them and says, all you are fucking horrible babies, and I disown all of you people. That he says like, oh, you think the headship is gonna go to Kraus? That answer is no. And everybody's like surprised Pikachu face. Kinzo has like this whole diatribe about successorship, and he's like, do you know what a successor is? And then Kraus is like, the person that's gonna inherit your position. He's like, no, the position of successor isn't something that's guaranteed by the current head at all. Listen, you know, the successor is somebody who finds everyone else who's after the headship thoroughly break their nose and make them so they will never disobey him again.
Wow.
And basically
How
shits
civilized.
all over Kraus. I know.
Yeah, just put their whole lifeblood into being like the successor, or like the head, I guess. Like they got a work bitch, you know?
Yeah, you gotta work, bitch. So like basically Kraus like is like, well, after I have insulted and completely shat on like Kraus, let's turn around to the other side of the room and see who else could I make fun of. And he looks at like Eva, Rudolph, and Rosa, and it's like, do you think you are qualified? The answer is no. None of you solved the riddle. And like, what kind of weak babies are you?
Yeah, Kinzo
And
is like, oh, so you didn't solve this fucking impossible riddle that I came up with? How shameful. You also didn't fucking murder your brother for the place of head. How shameful. You are so weak, pathetic, absolute
exactly.
worthless. The lowest of the low. I hate my children. I wish I was never born so that you would never be born. He doesn't say that, but like...
yes, basically. So yeah, and
Like all of them have their own companies, and he's like, you guys didn't even try.
yeah, you didn't even fucking do anything. And he basically is like, yes, you foolish children, you're truly daydreams. And then like Nanjo's like, sir, like you need to calm down, you have high blood pressure, like what if you're gonna pop a vein and die right now?
Yeah.
Nanjo basically is like, nervously raises his head and says like, I know how you feel, Kinzo. I know you love your children, and you expect a lot from them, which I don't even think neither of those sentences make sense. But Nanjo just like try to plead to him and being like, you know, like even if Kraus and Eva and Rudolph and Rosa didn't like live up to your expectation, but they have grandbabies. Like, what about their grandbabies?
Grandbaby.
Kinzo, if you're not like 40 years old, you're a baby, basically.
I guess, yeah.
I mean,
Right. I mean, Nanjo brings up like, oh, isn't the point of life to like, you know, have like a lineage and, you know, have babies and all that?
Yes.
And watch them grow and succeed.
yeah, basically. Yeah, he's like, oh, you know,
breeder
you
mentality.
have things like none. Like he's like, he basically looks at Kinzo and he's like, Kinzo, you have stuff that like, you know, you can't buy with money. Like you have grandchildren, and then like. He basically talks about how cool grandchildren are, which is pretty funny because like you learn that like from the last ending episode of EP3, you know that Nanjo actually has a sick granddaughter and how that's really sad to him. That's like one of the last things he pleads before he gets brutally murdered by somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so basically, Kinzo listens to this whole heartwarming argument about how great grandchildren are and how great family bonds are. Kinzo basically replies with, in other words, in exchange for the vast riches I created, instead of gaining money, I have gained grandchildren. And he's like, oh, I see. That makes sense. That is wonderful. I have created a single life using 10 billion yen. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
And one
And
of them is
alchemy-
George.
And the other one is Maria, I guess. But yeah.
Kinzo is just like going on this power trip. Fuck, man.
Yeah, it's also honestly fascinating because of the fact that I said I've been watching Fullmetal Alchemist, and it's all about creating life from life and, you know, all that stuff. And this is just a hilarious conversation to read.
Yeah, well, Kinzo is the golden smith, right? It's alchemy and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So yes, so Kinzo basically now is just like pointing at all his family, and it's like, so how about you, Kraus? Is your daughter worth 10 billion yen? And then Kraus just like eyelip eye, and he's just couldn't answer instantly.
He's
and,
like,
and then Nazi's like, yes, Jessica's a daughter who I wouldn't let go even for 10 billion yen. In that sense, I believe she's valued can't even be counted by money. And then
Yeah, and I think
like,
Kraus, like the stupid man he is, he must have felt so inferior to Nazi in that moment because he spends the rest of the scene just visually telling Nazi to not even open her mouth again.
That's pretty funny. I was gonna say because like I think from the outside looking in, and we all know in our hearts Cross is a douche, and he was like, I think maybe she's worth like a little bit less than that, maybe 100 yen. But also they all thought that this was a test, so they're trying to pick their words carefully.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a fairy tale riddle, you know? Like
Yeah, exactly.
like,
What are the 3 axes you dropped in the water? Is it the gold axe, the silver axe, or this wood axe? Now, Kinzo's going around the room. It's like, Eva, how about your son, your George? Like, how much does he own? And Eva's like, oh, I see. Like, I guess now I have to just answer, like, really cool, like, in a way that rivals Natsuki, you know, because, she
It's a
despises
test.
yeah, exactly. She says yes, like George is worth 10 billion, and you know, like blah blah, and they like have this really cute look between Hideyoshi and Eva, and they're like, yeah, we answered it really well. And then Kingzo's like, what
George.
about you, Rudolph? What about your battler? And I fucking love this line that Rudolph says, compared to George Kuhn, there's nothing about Battler I can brag about. If he was kidnapped and we were threatened with ransom of 10 billion, I would feel like sticking a bow to the guy and letting him have him.
Yeah.
And then like,
And then you just see Kiria with her look on her face. She's just like, yeah, do it.
yeah, Kiria's like, haha, that's hilarious.
He's like, this isn't my kid. Go for it.
And then Rudolph says, on top of that, he's an idiot and reckless, and he talks about grand dreams about things he can't be done. I guess the way it is, he's a super idiot worth the equivalent of 10 billion normal idiots. But if you look at an average person who's even have the balls to be an idiot, I bet this guy's gonna try things that 10 billion of them couldn't do put together. Well, I'm sure he will fall flat on his face. The world isn't easy, but at the very least, there's no doubt that watching over his life will be more fun than looking at 10 billion average people.
And then everyone in the room is just like, what the fuck? That was the best answer. Fuck.
Yeah, basically, Emma's like so mad. Like Emma's like, oh fuck, I wish I came up with that, like with that answer. And he's like, this answer is so outrageous. It probably suits with Kinzo's taste.
Yeah. Like he's just so
And
funny.
then-
The whole. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, Kinzo's like, what about Maria? And then Rosa's like, Maria's my adorable only child. Her value cannot be measured with money. That's all. And that's all she
Yeah,
says.
she's like, Maria's fine. Everyone gives like poetic ass answers.
Yeah.
And she's like, I hate this bitch.
Yeah, Rosa is like that meme of the stand-up artist. And then the audience is like, do another joke. And then the stand-up artist looks at his hand and he only has 2 jokes. Then Rosa is just like, more than money, I love her.
Yeah, that's so true. Okay, so now Kinzo is basically like, well, I see. Now you have already put your child's money line, you know, made a equation. So it's like, well, let's do it. I'll ask all this, like, I'll basically go and question all the children and test them and see like who's fit for the headship. You know, it'd be great. So, and then everybody's like, oh, yeah, father, that sounds like a great idea. I believe you will do your wise judgment. And then basically, like, Kinzo now looks around the room, and so after he declares that he's going to test all the children, he says, like, well, what am I going to do with all you people? Well, I guess, you know, you are going to be very helpful for my ritual. And then everybody's like, ritual? Like, what the fuck is he talking about? And they're like, and Kraus is like, well, father, like, if there's, what do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean by a ritual? And then Eva is immediately, of course, like clamoring to like help her like father, and says like, oh, we will help anything you want. And Kinzo's like, no worries, your existence here already is helping me. So right now we're going to like stop talking, everybody shut the fuck up, and I'm told you I'm gonna choose 13 of the humans on this island to revive Beatrice right now. So even worthless humans like you will be able to help me.
Yeah, it's like everyone is Kinzo is like, and now you will help me with my ritual. And then everyone is like, a metaphorical ritual, right?
Yeah, and they're like, no,
a metaphorical ritual, right?
right? Exactly. So basically he's like, you know, I'm glad there's not many people on this island all the time, but now there's more than 13 people. So, you know, thank you so much for coming to the family conference. Now you're going to lay your body down and become a part of my ritual.
Yes, understandable. Have a great day, father.
Yes, exactly. So he basically says like, oh, well, goodbye, like my stupid babies, my stupid sons and daughters. Now you are going to die for me.
Brazil.
Yeah, exactly. So then
Me when I'm trying to get people to play board games with me. Like, now we have enough people, I can I can fucking kill you all.
So now Kinzo summons out his cute bunny girl army, which is extremely clashing to the conceptual idea of like what has been going on. It's like he's like, yes, now it's the time when the escorts come. It's like girls popping out cakes, you know. It's just the Chester girls, and now they're ready to kill.
Yeah, and now we have one more Shasta. We get the yellow Shasta.
The yellow Shasta, yeah. So you get 0, 0, 4, 45, and 410. So, and you know,
410.
410. 410.
I love 410. She's so
a
cool.
lot
She's
of
just
numbers.
like, huh?
She said a lot of numbers. I was like, oh, that's a big number.
What did I
a lot
say?
of numbers.
It's 410 is the girl that's
Is my girl, yeah.
Yes, she's the Scion, or it's Hatsune Miku hair color. And then
Yeah, so that goes like, yeah.
yeah, and the 45 is the pink hair girl, and then 00 is the blonde one. So basically now they just say like, oh, close your eyes and shoot everybody, whoever you want. We just have to shoot 6 people in here. Or is it 6? No, yeah.
6.
Yes. You don't know how many people you need for the first Twilight mission?
My brain literally
Appalling.
just died. My brain literally died. He has to shoot 30.
I cannot believe this.
Oh, yes. So, yes, sorry. My brain literally died. Okay.
I know.
So,
Vibe.
So, yes, he is shooting 6. I think... Okay. So, basically, he looks around and he's like, 6 people. And then, basically, the 6 people that got shot is... Natsuhi was one of the first one getting shot just immediately. And Kraus is like, no, Natsuhi. And then... And then the second person that gets shot is Eva and Hideyoshi. And basically... they should, like, you could just see, like, everybody's panicking, you know, like these cute bunny girls raises their like bows and just shooting in the air, and there's all these like pew 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 things going on, you know. It's like grand Umineko like color. I don't know how to explain it, but how would you even describe Umineko animation to other people?
Wait, do you mean the anime or like just
no, like the way how they do like the flying like
like
yeah,
the imagery and stuff. No, yeah, I'd say it's very like fantastical, frantic, like the way. I mean, I played with like the 07th mod, so the animations weren't as smooth. It was basically a PowerPoint, but like it gave off the vibe of like just murder. Like people are dying, their
murder
heads are
mayhem
exploding, and then there's like this like kind of honestly cool like snake animation, even though like to me it was a PowerPoint animation.
Yeah.
Of just like chaos and death.
Chaos and death.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the current version I'm playing, because when I first played Umineko, I really liked the golden spaghetti CGs, because it'd just be and then the CGs would like overlap over each other, right? Then you have the text, none of that. I don't know what's up with the current version.
Are you playing 07 mod? I think the 07 mod has less animation than the Umineko project.
No, it has the same amount of animations as when I first played it. My problem with it is that whenever the fucking CGs overlap, and then text, I start reading through the text. Every time I get to a new paragraph and, you know, the text changes, one of the CGs disappears. So I just progressively get less golden spaghetti as I read.
That's so weird.
It takes me out of the experience, to be honest. But yeah.
Damn. That's unfortunate. But yes, so while this horrible slaughter is happening, the servants, the ones who are wearing the golden eagle, Genji, Shannon, and Cannon, are just like standing there watching this whole thing happen, you know? They're like totally just like waiting for death, or just waiting to watch everybody die, you know? And
they're just like, well, if we get a player, we can get to McDonald's maybe later. You guys want to go?
Is this the first time, like in the past 4 episodes, where you actually see people like actively die on Rokenjima?
On the wait.
On the first Twilight.
Wait, what did you say?
As in,
like,
this is the first time you see people die on the first Twilight. Like you see the murder of the first Twilight. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're actually seeing people like getting like directly killed, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoa,
so that's what makes it so special. I mean, like, I guess Because I guess in all the
because-
other episodes it was off screen, sort of.
No, because if you think about it, there are scenes where you see a character getting killed on screen. For example, like the whole Jessica and Canon death that's EP2.
Oh, yeah.
EP2 Twilight 2, like that's like a death, and also in EP2 is that? Yes, also
Well, but
the
even
same EP2.
even Canon's
like,
death in EP3. Canon dies on the first Twilight in EP3, but you do see Canon getting killed just on Kinzo's study. He isn't found where he dies.
True. Yeah.
So you do see first Twilight victims, but you don't see them dying. Like, I get what you're saying, Brent. It's kind of like this normal scene where you see a person getting killed somewhere. Like, seeing the first Twilight happening to the 6 characters, which is how you assume things happen.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that happening up until EP4, because you do see in EP3, but it's separately. In EP2, you don't see it happen, and in EP1, you don't see it happen either.
Yeah, I think
And-
think the best way to describe the uncanny feeling of watching this scene, Lorenzo, is the fact that like Kinzo, a supposedly human man, is killing killing other humans, even
Right.
while using like, of course, magical girls. But like, you know, that's what
he's
makes it
directing
weird,
them, right?
because like usually when there is a killing, you don't see the other perpetrator. The person who's killing is Beatrice, or the person who's killing are the stakes. But like this is
Yes,
just
exactly.
like Kinzo man kills his children. You know, it's pretty exciting.
And there's also they're killed in a very specific way where like their heads explode, but only half of them.
Yeah, that will come up later.
Okay, so let's continue.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Kinzo is like killing them just because he's like, I'll save Beato some work, I'll do this for Beato. But then like, what the fuck, Kinzo? Beato likes doing this shit. Why are you doing this? Your simping has counter simped.
I don't really understand what the fuck is happening. So I imagine like the idea is that like, Beatrice needs to kill 13 people to revive herself, or I guess somebody else could do it for her. So like Kinzo is like, I'm doing this for you, Beatrice. Let me kill 6 people for you right now. I guess the intentionality is different, basically, the difference between somebody else doing something for you and you doing it yourself. Well, Kiria is basically thinking like, oh, the servants are standing there so nicely because maybe they think they don't have to die. And then Genji immediately gets shot after her looking at him. So now Genji's dead. Genji's dead, and like all of them are even more panic. And Kiria turns around and he sees like Eva getting shot, and Rosa is like losing her mind. She's like picking up a chair and trying to hit her father, and,
Yeah.
which is really exciting. And even the narration says like, well, if she has ever, like this is an act of bravery and self-control. If Kinzo basically, if Kinzo has saw that earlier in Rosa, and if Rosa had basically took that like a chair picking up like slamming motion into her life, maybe she would have been like lived a better life. But anyway, Rosa also dies, and then basically after that they have killed 6 bodies. So it is Eva, Rudolph, Rosa, Natsuhi, Hideyoshi, and Genji. So that's the first Twilight, and basically Kinzo looks around the room and is like, congratulations, you have won the gacha. Now you're gonna live, and you could live to die another day, which is probably tomorrow.
Cool. Thank you, Father.
Yes. Kinzo brings out his gay best friend Renove, and Renove, Renove is like, yes, like hello everybody, I am gay man, the Renove, who's a butler. And then he brings out like Virgilia, and then Virgilia is like also here, and she's like, hello, like,
Yeah, Kinzo is like doing a big size contest with himself. He's like, you think this is a lot for myself to summon? Then nobody there understands magic, so why are you saying this, Kinzo? But anyway, he's like, you think this is all I can summon? No, I am above other humans. Look, I can summon Renove. But this is not all. Did you think this was all I can summon? Virgilia, you think I was done? I'm not done.
Yeah,
He's
and
just
then
like,
he summons
what a-
out Gap. So this is the first time Gap ever shows up. And I will never forget the utter shock that Dub had on his face when he first met Gab. And I was so excited that I got to send him the meme, which is like, guess which half I'm naked on? The left half. It's just like Gab's photo.
That fucking outfit. It's like the well, I can't read Umineko with my parents at home again character.
And also, like, I mean, the color, it's just so... I don't know if I like her design that much. It's very hard to look at. Just, like, the color. The outfit is like, I guess. But also...
The color.
The color, disgusting.
Also, Gab's. I want to talk about her character sprite and the Yukishi version because those hair is intense. Don't know what happened to the Yukishi right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Ryukichi put so much effort into Gap's hair. Like, me and Mushroom actually had this discussion the other day. We were comparing Higurashi and Umineko sprites and how Higurashi sprites have so much more work put into them, like especially the hair. And then you look at Gap's hair and you're like, I guess he was feeling nostalgic that day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would make a joke about Gap's dress, but I think Kenji makes the best joke later on. We'll get there.
Okay, so yeah,
And he's so cool.
So basically, like, they now just, like, talk amongst each other, and they're like, well, you know, this is fun. Look at all these buddies. And now, so Gap basically shows up, and Gap is like, well, you know, my power is, like, kind of like portal-making teleportation. So she basically makes a hole underneath all the alive people, which is Kraus, Kirie, Shannon, and Cannon, and Nanjo, and basically makes a hole and was like, into the dungeon you go, and all of them falls through. And then she also, I think, just basically looks at everybody and it's like, isn't that so cool? And now, like, and then the two people who ran away are Kumasawa and Goda. Basically.
Sorry, that's my special ability, holes.
Thank you, Lorenzo. So yeah, so Kinzo basically, everybody else is like, oh no, like they ran away, what should we do? And Kinzo's like, don't worry about it, we'll get to them. Like, they need to live so I can kill them, you know, that's really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have 6 brutally murdered corpses lay across the dining hall, and now they're all like red and gruesome. And they are like, so the thing is like all of the faces are half blasted, so like that's just, now they're just like all laying on the ground. So Beatrice is like, oh yeah, look at this, isn't this great? Like, Kings will love flashy things, so this is so cool. Like, I'm glad that we finally got to the murder part after maybe reading for 20 hours in this fucking EP4 already.
Yeah.
So
first readers at EP4.
Yeah. So Angel basically mentions that smashing the half of their heads is basically a good way to, like, is the most ideal method of killing. And suddenly Gap shows up in the smoking room and she says,
sorry,
like,
I'd like to pipe up. Just to clarify, it's the ideal way of killing to help keep the mystery a mystery, because it like helps, you know, keep the corpse's identity without, you know, leaving room for, oh, everyone faked their deaths and actually everyone's like, you know, playing tricks, that sort of deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it satisfies both things that Beato would want, which is a perfect autopsy, which is, well, they have their half their brain fucking smashed away. They are not functioning as a human being anymore. Even if they are, for some miracle, alive, they are not going to participate in the murders. So
I mean, look at me. I don't have a brain. I'm working just fine.
Thank you, Laura.
But it's like the perfect autopsy while also still allowing you to identify the corpse as that person, which was one of Butler's ways of fighting Beato in the earlier episodes. So it's just like, it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, yes, because now Butler's thinking about, like, oh, you know, like, if this is the perfect way of murder, then previous murders are not, like, that perfect. Like, you know, for example, EP1 murder, there are half of them has their face smashed half, and some of them have their face smashed whole. And, like, words are hard today. Oof. But
no, I get it. Vibe.
So, yeah, so basically, Gap shows up in the smoking room is like, yay, hello, I'm here, I'm the new character. Like, have you met me before? I'm Gap. I'm half naked on my left half.
She has such a different energy from regular Umineko characters. She's unusually calm.
Yeah, she
like,
looks ugly.
That too.
Gap feels like she's supposed to be in Rose Gun Days, but like honestly speaking, all the weird characters should go to Rose Gun Days. That's just how I feel. Amakusa, also a Rose Gun Days character.
Oh yeah.
And basically Gap calls Beatrice Riche, like, which is a nickname that would make more sense in like Italian, which I think is kind of cool because like Battler calls Beatrice Beato, which is a name that only makes more sense in Japanese.
What really? What does just Beato mean in Japanese?
Well, no, like as in, for example, like, oh, let me think.
Just like the shorthand conventions of the Japanese language. Just
yeah,
like,
exactly.
It makes sense to call it Beato.
Beato,
like how they call beefsteak for steak. No, not beefsteak, beefsteak. Not
for steak. But okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in Italian, why would it be riche? Because does it mean rich?
No. It's just like, how do I say? Like, okay, think about this.
It rolls off the tongue easier in Italian.
Okay, Des, think about this. If you have a guy named Richard, what kind of nickname would you give him?
Dick.
Okay, but Dick is an only nickname that would make sense if you're an English speaker. Like, does that make sense? Like,
Yeah. I guess I'd call him like Rich.
Or Rich or Richie. Like Richie would be a nickname for Richard. But like Dick is a name that only makes sense if you're an English speaker. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, because it's like the funny joke everybody learns when they get into like middle school.
Well, not only that, but like that's just how English language is. So like, for example, like Ballard...
What? Wait. What are you telling me? There's reason behind this?
Yes.
Yes, of course there is.
Really?
It's not like
how do you go?
We should just call people named Richard Dick from now on. I think it's because it sounds similar to, well, Richard can be shortened to Rich or Rick, and then they just say Dick instead because people are being
because I
silly
think there's
back
other
then.
words like that.
Wow.
Richard and Dick is not the only one that's like you switch it into a completely different
Okay.
Or Robert to Bill.
Oh yeah, so
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Or no, William to Bill, sorry.
William
is Bill.
William is Bill.
Robert
Like,
is Bob.
Yeah, exactly. Does that make sense, Des?
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know about
It's
those.
not like it's
Interesting.
not just like a simple joke. It's like a
So it's like William Will Bill. Is that the evolutionary line?
You know, probably.
yeah. So basically, the reason why Dick became a shortened for Richard is because Dick was chosen simply because it's a rhyming game and a nickname was really popular during that time. I think
Americans being weird. I get it.
But anyway, so the point of the story is, like, think about this. If you call something like Beatrice, like, would you have called their nickname Beato? Like, as in, like, that would only make sense if you're, like, is it in a Japanese, like, romaji setting? Like, you would, like, like, you would pick the first three, like, syllables and not, like, the more making sense one, which is the Riche.
Yeah, and in English you say Bea, right?
Yeah.
In English you would pick the first three letters. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Gap gives a funny reference to where Yukichi stole this outfit from, and basically is like, oh yeah, have you been to these places to buy the clothes? That's where I got the clothes from this magazine, basically, you know.
Yeah.
And
Ryukishi is like those clothing brands that are now like stealing the designs from other brands.
exactly. So, basically they just like now they're just talking about like episode 1, the first Twilight. They talk about Kraus, Rudolph, Kiria, Rosa, Shannon, and Goda's murder. And they talk about like, oh, all 6 of them had their head like pulverized, but like there's 2 types of corpses. Like some of them has their face gone and some of them has half of their face gone. And now they're just like arguing about fake deaths and the basic of mystery games. It's really funny because, like, you cannot believe that they're still basically explaining the rules of how to make fake bodies on EP4. And I'm like, it's just incredibly funny. And then I love the line that Battler says. He says, I get it. Since Bieto is trying to act through its, and she's trying to refuse to say anything in red, we got to suspect everything. Of course, I'm definitely not going to swallow the theory of magic mass murder by sexy-ass Chester babes.
Yeah, they're totally desensitized to all the murder this far after 4 ass episodes.
Now he's just looking at the asses of the girls who are, like, murdering his family.
I thought you were going to say he's looking at the asses of his dead family. I'm like, no.
Yeah. So now, after we saw amazing gruesome murders, now we are at the sweet world of witches, and basically it's just Rosa waking up, and she's like really confused.
Wait. You missed. I thought you were gonna mention what Angie has to say about Gap's dress. Wait, I have to find the line because it's just.
Let me find. Okay.
It's honestly one of my favorite lines from Angie because Angie is just so bitter.
Oh, okay. So yes. So I found that line. So it says, basically.
Wait, where is it? I'll roleplay it with you.
Oh,
Wait.
okay. It's in the bottom of the Ushinume Kinzo third.
Okay, so let's start at having new suspect candidates, okay? I'll be NJ. Having new suspect candidates added one after another from outside the circle goes against the etiquette of mystery novels. In other words, the witch is probably trying to desecrate humans and the mystery genre itself.
You're Gretel? I see. You look like a wise kid. I love kids like your taste so sweet and tantalizing.
Gross. Keep your jokes to your clothing.
It's devilish pretty. It's the newest Jack the Ripper Christmas blood. Sorry for having a style that the country bumpkins from the human world cannot understand, okay?
At least it's well ventilated. Why don't you add a gap to the head part as well? Let the air into your brain.
I just love that. That's so funny. It is very good.
Yeah. It's great. It's better in the end, but it's really cool. Thank you, Angie. I love your sharp tongue.
Angie has such hilarious lines. There's a one that comes out later, which is her telling some other. I'm not gonna spoil this part, but it's Angie telling this woman being like, "Wow, I guess you have been waiting here for me so long. Did you take a dump behind the bush as well?"
Yeah. Angie.
But yes, so now we are on the sweet world of witches, and Rosa wakes up from her very silent, cold, very uncomfortable nap, and she wakes up somehow in the smoking room, and she's completely confused. She's walking around.
Whoa! When we cry ex Rosa episode?
Yes.
Smoking?
So she basically feels like she's like wandering around, and everything looks weirdly dark and purple or just weirdly colored, and she's confused and forgotten, and tiny child runs towards her, and it looks like a child that's younger than Maria, and he's just like Uryu, and then the moment when Rosa hears Uryu, she immediately reflexively pulls up her hand and trying to slap this child, and then basically and then she realizes it's not Maria, and the child's like, "Are you okay? Does it hurt?" So the child is Sakutaro. And she's like, "I'm fine, little guy, where are we?" And Sakutaro's like, "Please come this way. You mustn't stay here. I'm going to take you to safety." And then the more, like, they walk away, he keeps being like, "Uryu, are you okay?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, like, Uryu." And then Rosa's like, Could you just stop saying Uryu for like 1 second?" And then he says, "Uryu." He's like,
Uryu.
No. Just shut the fuck up for a second. And then basically, like, Rosa just like couldn't, like, her palms are itching just to like wants to like slap this child. Like, Rosa keeps being like, "This child looks really familiar. Who is this child?" And Sakutaro's like, "But you're the one who made me. You are my mama." And then Rosa like, "I do not remember having to have another child." And he's like, Rosa's just like losing her mind, and she's like, "Maria's my only child. That's right. Where's Maria?" And basically Sakutaro just keeps hounding Rosa, and it's like, "Well, you're my mother. You made me. Like, do you not remember? You made it for me for Maria's birthday." So now they're just like trying to like run around and like find a way to get out of here, and because Sakutaro keeps saying Uryu, Rosa just like almost like she completely loses it, and she just screams at him. It's like, "Get away from me, like, disappear. Your Sakutaro was a disgusting, crappy stuffed animal." And it's like, "I do not know you, like, die." And like, and
Yeah. Then Sakutaro was shh. shut up, Maria's gonna hear you. And then Maria hears her and he's like, bitch, the fuck you say to my friend?
Yeah,
again?
exactly.
Mama?
So basically, it replays that scene where Rosa rips Sakutaro apart, and you just see like Maria wailing and crying and like completely losing her mind, and she's like just crying and shitting all over the floor. It's just all that
Get your
stuff.
pants, maybe she
Crying
didn't
and
come.
shitting
Yes,
and farting.
exactly. Mr. Shredder, shit and crumb. Yeah, exactly. And so now she's like, yes, because I held it in. That's why I was able to become the wonderful adult I am now. And
Wow.
She couldn't hold it in. She shitted and farted emotionally,
yeah, exactly. So basically now like Rosa's just like, what is happening? And she sees Maria, but like Maria in a weird like witch clothing, and she's like coming towards her, and Beatrice is like, yes, like now it's time for the torture hours, like they're gonna
Yo.
Yes. So basically, Maria's like, Mama hit me so many times, and Mama did all these things to me, and all these horrible, horrible, horrible words that Mama said to me. And like Rosa's like, well, I'm not proud of it, but like, what am I supposed to do? I'm busy with work. You know that I have so much work. And then basically
work.
Beatrice is just like standing behind her in like some dark Jedi way. And it's like, yes, like, come on, Maria, enough excuses from this woman who calls herself a mother. Could you forgive her? Is she innocent or guilty? And then Maria's like, I cannot forgive her. Mama's guilty. Time for more torture. So
Maria is like, it's a beautiful day outside. Birds are singing, flowers are blooming. In days like this,
Stop.
Mama's like, you should be burning in hell.
Yes, basically. So basically they're just like, I will not forgive her. And then she just like brutally destroys like Rosa over and over again. And she's just like broken her flesh, and Beatrice keeps restoring her, and they just like relive all these horrible scenes where Maria calls Rosa and it's like, oh, Mama, like please come back, and like all these like sad like basically they're putting Rosa on trial. They basically bring up a bunch of scenarios, and Rosa's like trying to say stuff. And this is actually a really surprising part, which is the day when Rosa's like, I have work, I'm busy, I cannot come home. And Rosa's like lying in bed with her lover, who's also cheating on his wife. Rosa's like talking to him, and she's like being really mean to Maria, and the guy's like, why are you so mean about Maria? Maybe we
He's
can
like, shouldn't you be taking care of your kid?
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, no,
like,
shut up.
he's like, oh, you should go like hang out with your daughter more. And then Rosa's like, are you telling me to be with my daughter more, be a mother and not a woman? And then the guy's like, that's what you want to, right? You also must want to spend more time with your daughter. I won't run away. I'm trying to say that I think it's sad for you to sacrifice your daughter so you can prioritize your time with me. And then Rosa replies, Did you get back on good terms with your wife? Looks like you have had about enough of being separated from her. And then he's like, I don't want to talk about my wife, just like you don't want to talk about your daughter either. And then
She's like, you think my head game's weak?
Yeah, it's actually really fascinating because like I was talking to this with Dubs, and it's just like Rosa just makes bad decisions about men in general, but like I feel like she purposely finds herself in horrible situations so she doesn't have to grow attached to them.
Huh.
I also
You
want to
think
say
so? Interesting.
the Rosa execution scene was probably one of the first pieces of Umineko media I like ever saw. So I was like,
Oh.
maybe one day I'll watch or read this or watch it. And then I was like, apparently the anime is trash. But I like that scene a lot. The Rosa getting tortured.
Yeah. Did you guys also have that game as kids where you would all be in a line, and then one side would be the alive side, the other side would be the dead side, and then the teacher would say, alive, dead, and you had to jump to the correct side?
No.
No?
No.
Well, I was gonna say that's basically what's going on here with Rosa. Alas.
Yeah.
What is it? Like hot potato with her life? What's the
Yes, if you jump
What's
to the
the
wrong side, you
analog?
get shot. No. Basically all the kids are in line, and there's like two versions of this game. And essentially is like one side is the alive side, the other is the dead, and then the teacher says alive. Then everybody has to jump to the alive side. And the teacher says dead. everyone jumps to the dead side. Then imagine the teacher says dead again. If you jump to the alive side, you lose. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And there's like this variation. There's also the variation where instead of alive and dead, it's earth and water, like the shore and the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're getting at. There's a Mario Party game that's like it, so
Wow.
life imitates Mario Party. You know what I'm talking about? The red and white flag thing? It's like in the newest one. Well, it's a remake, but
It's the one where you have to like pick up the flag correctly, the direction. Are you trying to remember saying that?
like it's like Simon Says.
Yes. Where you can also fluke up on people where you like try to do one position and then you change it immediately to the other.
Right. Exactly.
Why are we talking about this again? Okay, anyway.
Because they play the part in Umineko where they play Mario Party.
Yes, of course. So yeah.
But
so,
yes, about Rosa, it's It's just like Rosa is in such a position because at first she's totally wrong because the man is like, shouldn't you like not leave your daughter alone for like 3 days straight? And then Rosa is like, but I want to have time with you. I don't want to talk about it. You know, she's just like completely just being irresponsible. She's just but then it transitions into just Rosa having trust issues.
Exactly.
It's like so tragic because Rosa just can't trust.
It is really tragic because like it's the trust issues she has. Like she immediately, when she mentions Maria, she starts lashing out and she's like, and basically she's like saying all these horrible things and putting words in his mouth. And it's like, well, I guess you just don't like me. I guess you don't like women who has a daughter. Like, I guess you just don't want to be with me. And he's like, no, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not having even start disliking you. I just want you to take care of your daughter. And I want you to take me. And he even says, like, I'm just trying to tell you, take better care of our daughter. Like, he even said that, which is like a pretty big step for a man who's cheating on his wife to be saying, I think it's pretty funny. I mean, I don't think that they're cheating. I think like this man is estranged from his wife, I guess. That's
that's what I got.
But I have heard that cheating culture in Japan is like very rampant, so it's not too far out of the way to assume that he's also just straight up cheating.
Yes, that also makes sense.
It's a whole business. For like, cheating is it's a whole business.
Huh.
Like as in like you could stalk your like it'd be like like go find out who my husband is cheating with or something.
No. It's like there's this like kind of these types of cafes where you essentially just
a cuck
go
service?
have dinner with a mistress, I guess.
Oh, I
But
see.
it's just-
Professional cucking?
yes, it's basically that, and it's just acceptable. Like, of course, this is what I heard from a YouTube video, so that gives it a grain of salt.
Yeah. But no, cheating in Japanese culture is very rampant. But yes, let's continue.
Interesting. Okay,
So,
cool. Good to
Rosa
know.
basically started lashing out and getting really mad at this man and says like, "Oh, I understand being abandoned by so many times by that child." He's like, "You don't want me. Like, I can't. We will never be able to get together because like she just says all these horrible things." And you're like,
the man is like, damn, Rosa, with a whip like that, you could compete in the Olympics.
yes. Honestly speaking, it's pretty sad because like this guy, while he's cheating on his wife, doesn't seem like a bad dude, but like Rosa loses it and she pushes another person that could have been closer to her. And Rosa starts divulging in like even more dark, horrible things. She starts saying like, if you didn't exist, I will be able to actually get my happiness. Like, because you exist, I will always you will always be in my way. I will always be miserable. Didn't want you to be formed. And she's like, the man disappeared right before your birth. He said he would build a warm family with me. He tricked me. He disappeared. Like, now I have you and I hate you and I cannot find new love. And basically, like, it's really sad because you don't actually see Rosa's face throughout this whole exchange. Like, she's just off screen. So it's like, and then you just see like Maria there, like just like increasingly sad and mad and like just standing there in her witch form. It just feels like she's just like word dumping all this stuff onto like Maria. And
she kind of is,
yeah. And then she's like, I cannot live my life. Like, is this what I deserve? Like, I don't get anything. I was so desperate. I might look like an easy woman to you, and I was desperate. Like, you can't imagine how desperate a woman like me, like, I want love and I don't have anything. I hate you. I loathe you. I never even love you ever once. And she's like crying. Honestly speaking, I think like this, just to take us out of the scene, I don't believe like what Rosa's saying here. I think it's just like the spur of the moment, like emotion is really overwhelming and she's just saying all these horrible things. I don't believe she means it.
Yeah, I agree.
But Maria's now like actually bawling and she's just like crying, and Beatrice is like, oh, how ugly is a woman drowning in lust, and now you have seen this woman's true nature, now you can kill her, you can destroy her. And she's like, be crushed, I will never forgive you. And she just kills her over and over again. And
this is where we get the CG, right?
Yes, her eyes CG, and she cries and she's hopeless in her anger and sorrow. And basically
she's like crying blood or something.
Yeah, she's crying blood. She is. And it's just so upsetting. And she like splits her half of her skull open, and she like smashes the mom over and over again. And she's like, Sakutaro won't be fixed because of you denied him, and now he will never be fixed. And Maria is denied by you, my mother. Now I will never be fixed. I am broken. This is so fun now. I'm having fun. Murder. And then now she completely lost it. Like Maria just she's enjoying manslaughter right now. Yeah,
good job, Rosa.
Basically, she's like, I've done it. Maria is no longer Maria. I might be still an apprentice, but I have surpassed the human world. I am the apprentice witch of witches of origin, Maria, and there's nothing that makes me feel better, nothing that makes me feel sad. And yeah, she just fucking murders the shit out of her mom. And before we ending of this part of the non-spoiler section, basically Maria in the real world of the 1986 Rokenjima wakes up from a nap, and she looks really groggy and she's like kind of confused, and Battler is like, oh, like, you know, like, are you okay? Like, are you sleepy? Are you asleep? And Maria like gets really annoyed and she's like, I'm not asleep, and she starts crying and yelling at them. And George is like, I will be the bigger adult, like, you know, you're not sleepy, you're doing fine, Maria. Maria just like stares, like, while like this whole thing is happening, and like it's Maria's just being really creepy, and like George noticed like Maria was just staring at Battler with incredible eyes, and she starts laughing, and then like she laughs in a really creepy way, and like George is like, and Battler's like, what the fuck? Like, what is she doing that? Like, and then like she's like, I will forgive you. And then like everybody's like, oh, thanks, Maria, for forgiving us. And conclude your thought. So yes, so basically she basically says, you know, like, we'll make you some like nice tea, and like let's like make up, and like Maria says, no, you know what? I don't need it. I don't need you, but like I will forgive you because I'm a witch. He. And suddenly like this whole conversation gets interrupted by Goda and Kumasawa, who's like rushing in, and they're telling like, wait kids, there's something big that happened. Everyone, the master Kraus is, and then it cuts, and then we end on a cliffhanger.
True. Okay, so what I wanted to say was, I don't think I noticed this on a first read, but it's kind of obvious. So it's kind of revealed that every time Maria does her video, she's envisioning killing someone on the spot right there, because like her whole train of thought is, well, if I kill them over and over again, they are getting what they deserve. So if they are getting punished, I will have no reason to be mad at them. So they are forgiven. So, and then you get the whole sequence of Maria killing and reviving Rosa over and over again. And I don't know if it's the same in all versions, but in the version I was playing, you have to click, and every time you click, you Maria laughs once. She has like, every time you click, and every time you click, it's a cycle of Rosa getting killed and revived. And so basically every time she giggles, every giggle is a death that she's envisioning. And every time she forgives someone is because she has envisioned killing them over and over again until she's satisfied.
Oh my god, I actually never realized that until you mentioned it.
It's crazy and creepy because this girl's been doing this since the EP1. Like, go back think about every time you've heard Maria giggle or say she forgave someone. Like when Rosa goes back to Maria on every game board after she starts raining, after leaving Maria on the garden, and Maria is like, "Yes, I forgive you, mother." She has been there the whole time, envisioning killing Rosa. It's just like, damn. So yes, she was envisioning killing Butler right now.
It's the only thing that brings her solace. Thank you so much for listening to the spoiler-free part of our episode of Book Club. Episode 22. If you haven't finished reading Umineko, please leave. And we are going to spoil in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Spoilers.
Let's go.
Oh, I wanted to just bring up, like, on a reread, obviously, like, this is the first time we see, like, I mean, not the first time, but it's, once you know what's going on, the whole magic scene where Kinzo comes in, it's very like, oh, okay, this is what really went down. This is a very misleading way the story's being presented.
Yeah,
but
I
the whole reason
wanted
is
to mention how EP4 is extremely misleading, just because of the fact that, like, not only EP4 has basically Battler doesn't witness any parts of EP4, like, at all. Like, he doesn't witness any murder. He doesn't even witness any of the bodies until, like, the very last day. So, like, it's actually really confusing to think about, like, who was the first people getting murdered and what happened, because, like, not even any of the magic scenes lines up with what happening in real life. Like, I feel like in previous episodes, like, the magic scenes are mostly, like, has, like, a 1-to-1 or, like, a basically straight enough, like, explanation of, like, this represents this, but, like, in EP4, the magic scenes are just blatant fucking lies. Like, they're just, like, completely fabricated. Like,
yeah.
And
it's a really bold move to just walk the detective in a room for the entire duration of the mystery.
Yes. And then just shows him a bunch of bodies in the end. And it's just like, okay, now tell me, what do you think happened?
Also, yeah.
I mean, I feel like if you were a person who understood, like, how Umineko tricks work, I feel like when you get to the point where Canon and Shannon shows up on the same time, you would have known, like, you know, shit's going down.
Yeah, right. I feel like, okay, now that we actually got to the island, it kind of feels like only now is EP4 starting. EP4 is a comedy. EP4 is a comedy. From, like, just from this part, just the overlap between all the adults running from these bunnies with like bows and arrows.
Yeah,
it's a comedy. And then you have the death flag scene that's yet to come up, the crows punching scene. Like, there are so many scenes here that it's just a comedy. It's like Beato did this to amuse herself, basically.
Yeah, I say EP4 is, like, really ridiculous, especially later on, like, the whole, like, gap, Leah.
Okay, so as for my thoughts, while we were on the dining hall scene, when I was reading it, there's, like, this thing Kiria says. She says, like, I might not be one to talk since we aren't related by blood, but your father is very intelligent, correct? And, like, what I want to bring attention to is the part where Kiria says, I might not be one to talk. It's just like, first of all, that makes no sense. Like, why is not being related by blood relevant to your, like, what you've heard of Kinzo? But it's just funny because it's like Kiria is literally the most intelligent people in this room, but she has to place herself below the Shiromias because that's just how this family works.
Well, it's because, yeah, you know, she's a wife of the third son, you know, she doesn't get to have any say in anything.
But even so, she wants to talk. So obviously she has to start by saying, I might not be one to talk. And then in correlation with the sprites that she has, which she's always looking so confident, it's like she's just boldly prostrating, like, in between the lines, like, overtly she's like, on the surface she's saying, yes, I'm not as competent as you, almighty Ushiromias. But then at the same time she's saying, like, look, I'm below you and I can reach this level of reasoning. What about you, fuckers? Basically.
Yeah. She's like, not to brag, but I think your dad's really...
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Lorenzo. You're really good at like summarizing things in
A way of words.
a few amount of words.
But yes, what about you, Lorenzo? Is there anything you want to mention in this part?
In the dining room scene,
Yeah.
I just really love the whole riddle where it sounds like Kinzo's going to be like, okay, I think I'm going to give headship to whoever can sell their child the best. And then everyone gives out straight up poetry about their kids. And then Rosa's like, yeah, Maria kind of sucks. I fucking hate her. And then just like the murdering scene, like now that you know that it's all the servants are in on it. And then at that point, Sayo bribes everybody and also, scares them with like murdering everybody before them. Like, how do you think that all went down? Like, everybody's waiting for Kinzo, and then
I have a lot of thoughts about that. So my personal take of what went down is everybody's waiting for Kinzo, and Sayo shows up with guns and gold. Basically, Sayo shows up with what?
Really?
Like, do you think Kinzo is the gold
I was
bars?
just reacting. Keep going.
I'll explain all my thoughts and then we can talk about how
Go for it.
logistically speaking it is. She shows up with guns and gold and basically tells them, I will give you guys a bunch of money, but we're going to put on a show for the kids, basically. And it's like, basically, like, if you do everything I tell you to do, like, nobody needs to get hurt and you will get with lots of money. Like, that's basically what I think happens in a way. Like, as in, like, she basically just buys all the, like, all of the family, and maybe they're just thinking like they're just like, I don't know, doing an elaborate trick. I don't really understand the reasoning because like, wouldn't the family be like, why are we doing this for the children? But like, I guess like if you have lots of guns and money involved, like, I guess your reasoning would probably be lesser. So basically I think what happens is that like they're like, we're gonna test all the children. And I don't even think they kill anybody yet. I don't think they kill anybody on the first night. Like, I think they might have just split the group up and basically tells like, oh, half of you wait in the dining hall and the other half wait somewhere else, like on the island. I don't think they ever go to the underground thing because it doesn't make any sense, because in the very end of EP4, when Battler is going around the island to check on everything, he says the metal grating that leads down to the underground, you can't even open it, like no matter, like he brought up pry bar and all this stuff. He was like, there's no way these people could have like climbed out of the metal grating, basically. I have doubts about that. I'll talk about that more later, but basically,
were there bodies in the dining room when he was exploring?
Yes, there was bodies in the dining room. So I think like at a certain point, so all the bodies that was in the dining room is in the dining room. So
okay, so we'll have to tackle back later parts when we get there. I'm pretty sure Lorenzo also doesn't remember the details like me, but in regards to the dining room, which is something we can talk about now. Yeah, my initial thought was that they were poisoned, and half of them were taken to Kuadorian. But logistics-wise, your explanation makes more sense, because then you don't have to carry no bodies. A body that's conscious can carry itself if you offer them money. So I think that makes more sense, but that also has made me realize that also because the detective is locked in a room, basically, metaphorically.
Yeah, like anything could happen. So
anything could happen. You have such a big time frame.
I know, that's a problem. So the problem I have about that is that like part of me also believes it's highly possible that like, everybody was drugged and then everybody was brought to different rooms, which is also possible because there's still enough alive, there's still like lots of alive accomplices that could move the body around, basically. And like, so it could just be like, maybe they come in, they drug everybody, shoot all 6 of the people, brought everybody else, like, I guess but the thing is that means the 2 people that are actually getting left alive are Kraus and Kirie, which is like, why did Sayo leave those 2 people alive?
Because, okay, wait, did Kirie did Rudolph die?
So like, I imagine like the reason why they got Kirie is because maybe they thought Kiria could be bought with money, and like Kiria wouldn't have cared about Battler that much. And if she was to give Kiria a script to read for a lot of money, she would do it. Like, and she
I would imagine that going with your theory that Sayo didn't kill them immediately and separated them into two groups and only later killed them. I would imagine it's because Sayo could be thinking, if I leave Kiria and Rudolph together, they're gonna do some jackass shit.
Scheme their way out of this. And if Kiria basically, that makes actually a lot of sense, because if basically Sayo says, you know, you have two choices. You can either listen to me and do this to Battler, or then I will kill Rudolph. Like, you know, in Kiria's mind, like, Rudolph means way more than Battler, so she would do it.
Yeah. And she doesn't have to separate Eva and Hideyoshi, for example, because she has George as a hostage. So, like, I'm pretty sure Eva would sacrifice Hideyoshi if that meant saving George, for example.
Yeah.
So there's no point in separating Eva and Hideyoshi.
But they're and both of them are dead already. Like, I mean...
Yeah, so they're in the group that's going to get killed. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
She doesn't separate them because there's no point.
Yes. And, and Kraus is just a big dummy that's left alive.
Yeah, because... Okay, if we're thinking about this, like, putting Eva and Atsuhi on the same group would be a bad choice, because... They would also figure out a way out of this. So I think putting Kraus in the same team as Kiria would be just like kind of balance out the IQ, so that, you know what I mean?
Oh, maybe Sayo's like, oh well, Kraus is an idiot, so like he would be no help to Kiria. So like,
yeah, and then you'd have Nanjo there as well, because
Nanjo's a accomplice. I imagine in this scenario, Nanjo's a accomplice.
Okay, we've talked about this on previous episodes about how, like, Nanjo stops being an accomplice if he realizes his wife is in danger, right? So if they in the hypothetical scenario where they are hidden somewhere, like Kuadorian, for example, and they do need to escape, Nanjo would be like a... Okay, you know what? Never mind what I'm saying, because I would be Nanjo would slow them down, but I don't think Kiria would care about Nanjo, to be honest.
No.
Just scrap this.
Okay, so... I think the drugging theory does work. I think it has to do with, they just have to separate two groups, like basically separate these two groups and tell Kiria and Kraus's group, like, you know, like, if you do all this stuff for me, you'll get all this money, your family will like, the other person you're waiting for will be still alive, and, you know, you'll just get off the island. But I think that's once they separate a group, that's probably when Sayo killed the other group. So. Because it doesn't.
Okay,
like,
but if Sayo killed the other group in the, like, right after placing the other group somewhere in a cell somewhere, if she killed them right after that, then she wouldn't have no way of controlling the other group if it came to that, because, like, if she leaves them alive, she can be like, if you don't do this, I'll kill your husband. Then Kiria would be like, oh yeah, how do I know you haven't killed him already? You know,
true.
She needs them alive.
Yes, I guess she would. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, separating people. That's my personal take on what I think happens in EP4. I think I've read lots of people's theories on EP4, and all of them are wacky and very interesting, and they're all very different from each other because of the fact that EP4 is a blank canvas for you to scribble on.
Right. That's what makes it so interesting.
Also, another argument for Sayo doesn't kill everyone when the story shows you Kinzo killing everyone is that later on we see Zeshka fights Ranove, so Genji must be alive, and Genji is within the ones who were supposedly killed by the Shiestas.
Yeah, I will get there to talk about what that scene actually is. I have lots of doubts about that scene too.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, like, yeah, that scene is pretty wild.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about this now, and yeah, it's kind of stupid to assume that Zeshka fought Genji just because she fights Ranove.
Yeah, like, what does that mean? Does that mean, like, George fights Gap? Like, who even is Gap? George fights Nanjo. George fights Nanjo in a dress.
Yeah.
what else? Is there anything else that people want to mention for this first murder?
Think about like what Kinzo and like the grandchildren test like represent. Like, is that a real conversation that was actually brought up between everyone, or is that just like, you know,
Kinzo is dead,
the
Lorenzo.
setup?
Well,
Huh?
yes. So, but like, what?
No,
does
I mean, like,
that
what it
conversation
means,
represent?
like, yeah, what it, yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think that conversation could very well happen, basically. As in, like, that's Sayo asking, like, well, would you sacrifice your life for your, like, children's life? Like, I think. Because,
like, is it just like a straight up call out for Battler to be like, this is the whole reason why this is happening? Like, one of the grandchildren wronged me and I'm holding this contest just to weed him out, that sort of deal?
I don't know. I think I don't imagine Sayo would be that upfront or even be. I think like the whole thing about the obfuscating is that like, I mean, Sayo's whole thing is not just to get Battler to admit his sin. She still hates every single person in the room. You know, like like Dao's hatred is still true. Like, I mean, I think that conversation still could have happened, but it might just been the type of thing where they're like, would you exchange your life for your child's life? Of Sayo pointing a gun at them, being like, if I give you a bunch of gold, would you go kill your kid? Like, it's like, it might have been extreme. It might have just been the complete, like, opposite of, like, what had happened. Like, they might have pleaded, they may have said a bunch of things, or maybe they was heroic and said how they loved their children and they would have never killed. Like, you know. We just don't know.
Huh. Because it's been so long since we actually tackled the mystery of Rokenjima because of EP4's first half. I didn't even start thinking about the mystery up until right now. So I guess my take on this that we're discussing now would be that Sayo wouldn't care about the adults. Like, Sayo hates every single one of these adults, but she does have a relationship with each of the childs, right? Like Beato to Butler, Kano to Jessica, Shannon to George, and Beata to Maria too. So obviously she would just not care about the adults. I think this would be the game board where Sayo just gave up on trying to use the epitaph as a way for like as the thing that she bases her life around on these last days. Will she survive? Will she not? Who will someone understand her? She's like, this is the fragment where she just doesn't use the epitaph. She's like, I'm gonna use a different thing.
This is where she does the proactive decision of immediately deciding to kill people or imprison them.
Is it? I guess that's part is proactive, but even so, she's. Oh, okay. Actually, tying this conversation and the previous one, maybe she left everyone alive until the test, because the test is literally about, do you kill everybody else and leave the person you love? Like, right? That's what the test is about.
Yes.
So, I guess it's just her calling them one by one, seeing what they would do. And if they say, yes, I would kill everybody else for the person I love, then she would call everybody else and ask them, okay, now kill them, darling. And because okay, the state that Sayo is in, yeah, she can't live with all of this going on with her life. Like, we've already talked about this. Sayo is pretty trapped. Like, she webbed herself, and others webbed her as well into the place she's in now. So she thinks that the only way out of this is if like only 2 people survive, and those people is me and whoever is gonna uphold this golden truth of Rokenjuna's cat box and what really happened or didn't with me. So everybody else has to die, because that just, is like maybe contradictory to whatever thing we're trying to put into this cat box. So do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes and no. I mean, in the way I was gonna mention that, because how you described it, I think if Sayo had left everybody alive, a really spicy version, which I don't think is the version that happened on EP4, like basically another bottle that she wrote of it could have been basically she split the adults in 2 groups, let all of the basically all the servants roam around, just do their stuff and go to their correct places, and then called out each of the family people, basically basically for calling George would be basically she tells George and she's like, okay, here's my test for you. You can choose to be with me or you can choose to be with your family. And here's a gun and and here's your family tied down on the floor. You can shoot them now so you can be with me, or you can shoot me, or you can shoot yourself. Like that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't think that's what actually happened in EP4 because then it wouldn't have been uniformly bodies the correct places, but that would have been incredibly spicy because then when you invite Jessica, it could just be I think for Jessica would be oh well, do you love me enough to kill your mom Natsuhi, and I think or so on and so forth. The same for Battler is could you kill your dad Rudolph, and or if that was true, or and if Maria could have pulled the trigger to kill Rosa, then she would be able to forever live happily in the Golden Land. Or if Sayo didn't want to put that weight onto Maria, she would probably have been well, I will just if you want to just go sleep peacefully into the Rosa, into the Golden Land, just have this cute tea and then drink it and die, I mean, I don't necessarily think that's actually what happened on EP4, but it is very spicy. It's way more exciting than it's way more exciting than I think what actually happened is probably that Sayo went around and killed everybody, which I think is pretty much what happened. Because I don't think there is a second I don't think anybody else did any murder in this one.
No, I don't think anybody else did any murders, only Sayo. Yeah, I agree. In the end of when they did the tests, maybe they just Sayo just ended up killing them, maybe. But we can get more into that when that happens, I guess.
Yes.
But I was listening to your theory and I was thinking yes, that's interesting. But then what about Butler? Because when it's time for Butler's tests, he has already gone around, right? And he has seen the corpses. He has seen Rudolph and Kiria dead.
Wait, no.
No?
No. Okay, that's what I mean by that's one of the reasons why Battler is one of the last people that get tested. One of the last two people that get tested is Rosa, not Rosa. What the fuck am I saying? Is Maria and Battler. And when Battler leaves for his test, before he leaves, he gets two phone calls. The first phone call is from
Kiria.
No, it's from Jessica. And Jessica is telling him I'm already dead. George is already dead. I'm gonna die really soon, and if you meet whoever is behind this, do not believe them and don't listen to them. They're demons, basically.
That hurts. Oh my god.
Yes, and then I'm pretty sure in the manga version it shows that Shannon Cannon is pointing a gun at Jessica while she's saying all these things, and she blasts.
And then he shoots her, right?
And he shoots her.
My god.
And then basically before Battler leaves, this is after before Battler leaves, he gets a second phone call, which is from Kiria, and Kiria is I'm gonna tell you this lengthy ass fucking story of what have happened, and she basically tells him all this fantastical things that we have been seeing the whole EP4, and then she basically ends with, if you see, she's whoever is trying to kill me, they're trying to kill me now, and it's bing 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 bing, it's basically think it's Sayo trying to shoot her through the door. And but she can't really shoot her, so it's all these flying arrows are missing her, basically. And then she's I'm gonna die soon, but if you see who is behind the scene, run away from them, they're monsters. Basically says the same thing. But what I don't really understand is why did Kiria still went through and told him a bunch of lies?
I think she was still bribed. I mean, I like the idea that she was being shot at through the door, but it could also, I think she was being bribed to say that.
Yeah,
and
I 100% think Kitty is being bribed to say that. As in
But the arrows, and as opposed to being shot at through the door because he would have heard the gunshots. Did he? Did he hear the gunshots through the phone?
No, I don't think
No.
so. But I think
So
he heard
I think-
the last gunshot.
I think it was like impending doom as opposed to being shot at through the door.
Or maybe
Because
or-
if she was, then the door would have had like,
Ooh, true. Okay.
holes in it.
So actually, instead of thinking about being shot at, maybe Kirie is calling him to say all this stuff, and then maybe the door's knocking. Like maybe that's what she is. And then in the end, the door opens and she gets shot. Like maybe, I don't know. Like as in like I don't necessarily believe that like because like if Kirie was really had her life on the line and knew that this was really the last message, she wouldn't had said all these lies. So maybe she was working with Sayo until the last moment before Sayo betrayed her.
Okay, we'll have to wait till then because maybe I don't know what Kiria says, which is why I'm saying maybe we'll have to wait till there. But what if there's some kind of like code there? What if Kiria is hoping Butler will read between the lines or something?
I don't know. We'll get there. I don't think it's that fancy of anything. I think she just says a bunch of stuff. Like because Battler's whole understanding of EP4 comes from this conversation. So like if we were actually watching the EP4 from Battler's perspective, it is literally Battler in a room like that's raining, and then he gets one phone call from Jessica. He gets the whole thing about Kumasawa and Goda rushing in to tell him all these weird shit, but they don't really like explain it that well. But they are like, oh, some people might be dead, some people might be not, but they're still in this room this whole time. And then they like lock Kumasawa and Goda up, and then they walk away, and they come back, and then they get 2 more phone calls. And basically through Kirie's explanation of the rest of the episode, and Goda and Kumasawa is the only thing he knows about the episode. Like it actually makes 0 sense how that was constructed. So I don't know. We'll have to see. It's honestly annoying to me how EP4 is written because it makes makes 0 sense, but it just like doesn't make enough sense in my brain yet.
Well, but we'll get there. As for the part we've read now, which is what is important right now. So is our current theory. The most prevalent theory, I guess. We have a lot of them, but the most prevalent one, I guess, we'll go with is nobody was killed or drugged. They were simply bribed into 2 different groups, and then we'll see where the story goes from there. And Goda and Kumasawa were asked to go to the guest house to build this narrative.
Yes.
Okay.
And then maybe they were drugged. Maybe there were drugs involved, but like, yeah, I don't know. That's it. But nobody's killed. I don't believe anybody was killed so far.
All right.
Fair.
Great.
Do you think the Nanjo like grandchild thing? That's another thing I wanted to bring up. I think Nanjo says the meaning of life is to have children and procreate, and I think if that happened at some point, it would have set Sayo off because
100%.
reasons. I don't know if that's like if that happened necessarily in this scenario,
order, but like it definitely would be something that would flip
like
her
motive.
off. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Sayo has endured long enough. I don't think this would it would piss Sayo off, but I don't think that would make her change her plan because now she wants to kill Nanjo on the spot.
I mean, Nanjo doesn't get killed on the spot. Nanjo gets to live very until he's one of the last people that get killed in this whole string of events, I'm pretty sure.
But I think at some point in time, it was reason to be vengeful of the family because, their grandchildren and she's seeing a lineage meet up every single time that she's on the island, and it's just I'll never have this, I'm furniture, etc., etc.
Yeah, exactly. And then realizing that she's a grandchild, even worse.
Yeah.
Oof. Self-own.
Yeah. Okay. I know we have been going on for a while. Is there anything else we want to mention?
No.
I think that's it for now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Des. I find EP4 extremely confusing. Like this part of EP4 confusing. Like everything about AJ and Maria, this part very, very hard.
Well, because Butler isn't anywhere. If Butler was somewhere, it'd be easier.
And he doesn't even know how all of the people, like, he doesn't even know what the order of people that is killed, because when he finally go look at the body, everybody's dead.
Yes. Just in general about the book club, because I was editing the previous book club this morning and I was thinking, I need to say this, then I forgot up until the last moment. So basically on the previous episode, we basically started about talking about how like Sakutaro is a stuffed animal, right? A toy. We started talking about that in the spoiler part, and then the spoiler-free part, I mean. Then that got me thinking, yeah, we are getting to the part of Umineko where answers are given, right? So, but then also Umineko is the kind of story where you don't, for most of the answers, you don't have a precise moment where an answer is given, right? Different people get to the same conclusion at different times through the story. Some people get to those conclusions after they have finished the story. But we are doing an analysis, so we eventually have to start taking things for as things that have already been answered, right? So in our case, we didn't even notice, but previous episode was when we started taking Sakutaro is a stuffed animal as facts, and that's probably gonna keep happening. So don't get, I guess I'm just giving like a warning of like, maybe we'll start taking things as fact at a point that maybe you listening will not think that's the right time to start taking it as a fact. But, different people get to the conclusion at different times, and yeah.
Or, I mean, are you trying to say, like, as in, like, when you're reading that part of EP4, you should probably think, like, you would think of him more as, like, a mystical creature instead of being like, yes, it's a toy and it's just Maria's imagination. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, I'm talking about things like we are eventually gonna have to say, yes, Sakutaro is mass-produced, and, there's kind of like a...
I mean, we're not gonna say, we're not gonna say that. That's not happening. I won't, at least. I'll do my best.
So what is our plan? Do we plan to like do the whole book club not mentioning, like, are we gonna be on EP8 and still gonna be hiding the fact that Shikanon is a thing?
Oh no, we don't have to.
On the spoiler free part.
We can.
That's what I mean,
Oh, true. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about Shikanon at EP6. How about that? Or EP7. Thinking EP7.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we are eventually gonna have to start taking it as a fact that Sakutaro is mass-produced, and other things like, I don't know, there's other things.
Okay, I understand what you're talking about. Okay, yeah, we'll see. We'll get there when we get there.
Okay, yeah, I was just throwing that out there, so,
yeah. Thank you so much for listening, and bye.
Yes,
see you.
Catch you later. See you next time. All that. Catch you next time.